What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Seventh Floor Podcast. I'm your host, Hinano, joined with my awesome co-host, the one and only, the biggest bro, Video Shane, as well as the crew that is waiting in the studio right now, guys. And we're going to be reviewing Stranger Things Season 5, Episodes 1 and 2. And Episode 1 is The Crawl, and Episode 2 is The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler, guys. And in Episode 1, is set in November 1987, that's 18 months after the events of Season 4, where Hawken remains under strict military quarantine amid ongoing upside-down incursions. Eleven hides with Hopper and Joyce and secretly is training to regain her powers while also hiding from the mysterious Dr. K, played by Linda Hamilton, a ruthless military scientist leading the hunt for her and doing questionable experiments in the upside down for the good of humanity. Now, that never works out. The core group, now scattered, reunites through coded radio messages from the Squawk radio tower to coordinate covert ops against the military as well as Vecna. Hopper ventures into the Upside Down seeking the villain, while young Holly Wheeler at the very end, played by the most awesome actress I've seen. This young girl, Nell Fisher, is amazing. At the very end of the episode, the Demogorgon ends up trying to get her in her home, and that's kind of how Episode 1 ends. So we're going to start right there with Episode 1. But before we even get any further, let me get the rest of the crew in. I'll be right back. We'll skip ahead. Hello, everybody. That's how fast it is here at True Media. We're that efficient. That's how fast people get. We don't get to the end. What is up, everybody? We've got the biggest bro who is live in location of where he's at right now at his workplace, as well as Video Shane. The infamous Shay Byron has returned. It's good to see you, sister, as well as Slider. Thank you to having you guys all here. I want to say hi to you guys real quick. Slider, we'll start with you. How you been?
Good, guys. Yeah, I'm excited about these episodes and ready to get into it. So thank you for having me. And yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. Shay Byron, you're back.
Hi, I'm back. You can't get rid of me. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, and it's a pleasure to see you again, Shay. And then also the voice, the man himself, the person that can literally put everyone in charm. How are you doing, Video Shane?
I'm doing very well. You guys are so funny with the voice thing. I love it. I love it. So great to be back.
Oh, let's go. And biggest bro, how are you doing, brother?
All good, man. Ready to get into it and get into the upside down.
That's right, you guys. And then my lovely wife, Dee, how are you doing?
Same old, same old. I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited to see everybody on the panel. We're missing a few people, but I'm glad to see your lovely faces. Yeah, Big Bro, I'm glad you're able to join because I know Sunday's usually not your free day. So thank you for being here. And it's nice to see everyone's face. And can't wait to start talking about 1 and 2. I mean, yeah, I got to remember where to not continue because you guys haven't seen 3 and 4.
Don't worry, I got you. We're going to start with 1 right here. And 1 was called The Crawl. And you know what I love about this episode is they don't even stop with a heartbeat right here. You get right into the thick of it. The first 5 minutes, we find out what happens to Will Byers in the Upside Down when he's caught by Vecna as well as the Demogorgon. And I got to tell you, it's very brutal to see this as a little kid gets like injected with like goop and gawk and all kinds of crap in his mouth. But that's kind of what starts it all. But what I really loved about this, and I'll kind of go first and then kind of get your guys' take on everything. And then we'll kind of go through key moments as well as, what your favorite part was and as well as your characters. What I really love about this, and I'm a big fan of 80s retro music, as you guys can kind of tell right here. What I really liked was this scene right here at the very beginning, the music. And if you guys are a big fan of Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein's Kids theme, and that's the name of the track is called Kids, you hear it in every beginning part of the season of every Stranger Things. And this one doesn't miss a beat. I love the fact that everyone's at the Wheelers. you got Holly who comes up and starts yelling everybody breakfast, and you see everybody like piled down. And I just love hearing the vibes. I told Dee we had to pump up the stereo throughout this whole entire time because I wanted to hear the vibes, because not only are you feeling the emotion from these actors, you're actually feeling it through the music itself. So this scene really resonated with me, and I got to tell you, this poor guy didn't get his bacon. This guy right here, Ted Wheeler, he tried his best, guys, but it never got there. But so I'm going to leave it there, and I'll give you my take on the episode. But we'll start with Slider. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, it got right into the action, and gave us a little backstory, on Will and, what kind of happened. Because, we didn't really see, what happened. We just saw him like in that, kind of cabin. He had that 22 and, he had the shells he was getting. And then, all of a sudden it was just like, that was it. You never kind of got any of that backstory. So I thought that was cool, and the scene with him jumping into the tree and falling down and then getting dragged into the layer. And, that was cool. The next part that I really kind of I liked was the part with like Elle, and kind of how she was training and everything. It kind of gave me the Star Wars vibes, with like Yoda, Luke Skywalker. But also I just like the interaction like with, her and Hopper and everybody, and, just like seeing her kind of like really training and him helping, and just like that little aspect that you haven't really seen for a while, and how their relationship has changed now, kind of from where before it was like really like, Hopper was trying to figure it out like a daughter, and, he lost his daughter and dealing with it all. And so, yeah, I really like that scene for part of the beginning.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jay, let's get your take of the episode.
Well, first of all, one of the things that I loved was how they were all able to coordinate this very detailed plan without cell phones. I was like, what?
Yes.
Through code, speaking on the radio, and then just like mapping things out. Everyone knew where they needed to be, what needed to be done, and they all just had their shit together without planning. I really love that part, but I also really loved all the action. Like immediately, I feel like there was a point where I was starting to get stressed out and kind of tense, and my cat, she'd been sitting on my lap. She noticed how how stressed I was. She started like purring and kneading on my chest. I was like, oh, she understands that I'm like really into this show. So yeah, I love it. Loved all the action behind it all.
Needs it.
Video Shane, please grace us with that voice.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I loved it. I thought I love being back in this world. And these are we spent a decade with these characters, so it was just so enjoyable to see them again. And the only thing I would say that was a negative for me about the episode was I don't like seeing our good friend getting bullied. His special shirt got torn and everything. I don't want to see him getting beat up. But he tried to get back at him with the snake. So I was engaged in that storyline, like I immediately, because I really like that character a lot. And so hopefully as the series goes along, don't spoil anything if something happens in the next 2 episods. But hopefully he gets.
Oh, he's dead. No.
He's dead.
Him off.
That's it.
Sorry.
You like him, man? He's gone.
Yeah, I thought, but I loved everything about it. I love a good training sequence. One of the greatest of all time is Karate Kid with the wax on, wax off. But her doing her timed thing, and I loved all that, and I love the little side story about how she did beat the time with a minute to spare, and like that moment of him as an actor just being able to express, through his body language, that he was actually really, really proud of her, that she did it and that she was able to do it. And he knows she's ready. He's being a protective, kind of surrogate father to her. So yeah, I loved all of it. And that shot that you showed, with them at breakfast, it didn't dawn on me until I saw it as a still image with them looking forward. But that almost gives me kind of Home Alone vibes, with the wallpaper on the wall and like all the stuff all over the the table. Like they always do that in movies with the table is just filled to the brim with plates filled with food. And so it's just gives you a very feel good feeling. And just a really fun way to open it up with him pounding on the door, and then it's the wrong person. Yeah, just all of that was a great way to open up the show. I loved it.
Yeah.
Me
Biggest
too.
bro.
My
You're
man
muted.
didn't get no bacon, man. Bacon, man. I was kind of like, all I asked for the bacon, and now everybody wants to get their bacon right now. Not now. You guys want your bacon,
Yeah.
but what I really loved about that scene is a lot of people put focus on like when you have everybody over on dinners, right? But for me, when I was growing up, there was a big thing like on Sunday they make Sunday breakfast, and then that's when everybody would come together and stuff like that. And so, like having that, and there's something about breakfast, like morning time, is like chaos, right? Like people have to leave there. Everybody's going their different ways and stuff like that, but everybody still got to eat, and you get that one time before like it's time for everybody to go. So I really enjoyed it. I will say the first time I saw this episode, it was premiere night, and I was lost, man. I was like, wait, what's happening with this episode? Like I didn't get connected to it, right? But then I watched it again after I slept, and I felt better. So I know now probably I'm not a premiere night guy because I was staying up like, all right, I'm juiced, I'm watching it, and I saw the first one, I was like, I don't know if I appreciate it. I don't know if I got it. You know what I mean? So, but I definitely we carry on with the second episode. I got back in it real fast. Just had to hear Diana Ross. You know what I mean? Like, I was
Yes.
back.
She brings it back in.
That's the
Yeah.
key.
But it was really good. I think this was a good exposition episode of explaining what's going on, explaining how they've been like what they've been doing, and like Shay said, being very organized. Like they had a really detailed plan again with no cell phone, and the only communication they're getting is through the radio and through like almost like a code. So I thought that was really cool. And then of course this is the episode where the flux capacitor. Oh no, my bad. That's the next episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Oh, teaser.
Spoilers.
Great
I'm
Scott.
already messing up. Great Scott. Yeah, as soon as you said that, I was like,
Yeah, this
But yeah,
was
that's what I
a. I really enjoyed this episode too. Just to see them from the last time we saw them all grown up a lot more, and the whole using the radio, that's all they had, and their bikes. I wonder how it was for them on their first crawl, because this is crawl number like 30 something, right? 30
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder how it was like the first time. They were probably all yelling at each other through the walkie-talkies, through the radios, and just like, come on, do this right, or not that way, left, not right. But just to all see it come together. And I always like when I watch shows, it may not mean something, but I always find like numbers like why is 37 relevant? I didn't dive more into it, so I don't know. It was just like something that kind of like stood out to me, like why are they highlighting number 37? But yeah, this scene with the family, I thought it came so beautifully, especially like during Thanksgiving. It was like right around the same time, so this was really cool to see. And I understand Karen's after everyone all of a sudden needs to leave, they need to go to work, they need to go to school, and she's left with everything. I'm like, oh no. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you with the dishes. I'm like, no, this is like kind of familiar in my household at times. Like not like just now, but like even from before, like when I was younger.
We're being ousted out.
All the time.
But it's like
Punchline.
I can relate to it, and I just love the music in the episodes. Just kind of brings everything together. To see like the first part where what's her face, Robin is working at the radio station, and she's voicing over, like kind of giving us like the rundown of what's happened without us actually watching like a whole episode or two about what she's talking about. and then it leads to other stuff. But yeah, so for me, I really enjoyed this episode to kick it off. And yeah, the beginning scene with Will in the forest in his castle thing just kind of makes you think, like, why are they showing this in the very beginning? Is it all going to come back full circle? To be determined.
Yeah.
So yeah, exciting episodes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I can completely agree with this. And so I'm a person, and you guys know me from the Superman review. Like, I get into the feels depending if there's the right music, score, sound, and also visuals that matches all of that. And what I really loved about this, and what really got me in the feels, is when I saw it right away, and Holly started yelling breakfast, and they all ran to this table, and we see this scene to the end where our guy Ted doesn't even get his bacon. This is the last time we're gonna see them do this. This literally will be it, you guys. Like, we're not going to see something like this ever again. Maybe not in our lifetime for this type of show. And what I love about this show, and a testament to the Duffer Brothers, is this show is so unique. As in, like, granted, they steal tropes, right? We always talk about, like, Jurassic World, and, like, you know, they steal all these different things from movies. But, like, what they do well in this is they take these references from movies and they make it their own. And that's what I love of what the Duffers do, is, like, this is really our own. This is a brand new world we're playing in here. The Upside Down, these kids, the people related to this, right? Like, a great example is Paul Reiser. I'm a big fan of Dr. Owens. I hope he comes back, because he was like an anti-villain. If you guys remember him, Burke from Aliens, right?
Yep.
Like, he was always known as like a villain in the 80s. So to see him come around and be like better than Brenner, you know, like, because in the 4th season, right, he really was trying to help Eleven, right? And he disappeared. So I really hope he comes back. But just that alone, right? Like, to have all these different characters that used to play these different characters in the 80s come back to this show.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is our family, and we're now seeing them at the very end of their story, at least that we're going to be able to see. So this scene right here kind of got me in the feels right there. I'm like, damn, this is it, you guys. This first episode, The Crawl, is literally going to crawl us to the end of the series. And, you know, we don't even know what's going to happen yet, right? But that's where I got from this. I loved everything about it. I love that they're now manning the radio station. I love they figured out how to do, like, their own Morse code in that. It's something they've always been good at with this show, where they're good at explaining their plan by giving you visuals and making those visuals as well as their plan relatable to, like, real life, right? Like, I can see us doing that kind of stuff, right, if we really had to. So that's what I really loved about this. And I got to give a shout out to this actress right here. Where is she? I have a picture of her somewhere. Holly Wheeler right here. Like, phenomenal little girl right here. I really feel like she is a focus in this. Like, she is the Will Byers, but in the sense, there's a main focus with this character. And I love that this is the relationship to Mike as well as his sister, right? This is their little sister right here. And there's a bigger thing going on with her that I loved about it. And also at the very end, right? There's a picture somewhere around here where the Demogorgon reaches Holly's house and they're about to go in. Holly's trying to run away and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, that kind of stuff, right? Or that's in episode 2, but you know what I mean, right? The Demogorgon is here. That's what's happening. And that kind of ends episode 1 right here. So, like, in your guys' rating, how did you guys rate episode 1? Is there any key moments in episode 1 that really stuck out to you? And was there a character that you really loved the most from episode 1? We'll go with Juice Slider.
Rating it, I would probably rate it. I mean, I think some of the other episodes are really good too. So I would probably say like a solid like 8.5. You know, going into it, just because I think the other episodes are really good, like kind of get better as you go. But yeah, I would say probably my favorite character. Oh man, that's tough. I don't know. I kind of like somebody who's a little different. I noticed is Robin. I like it that she still kind of has her energy about her. You know, it's one of the things I noticed in the first episode and kind of going into the second episode is just like how it seems like all the characters are really like stressed out, you know, run down, kind of like you can just see how like this whole thing is like weighing on them, and you know that they haven't found Vecna and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just think that she still is you know who she is basically through the whole thing. So and yeah, so I think she did really good in that first episode. So yeah, that's who I'd go with.
All
Okay.
right,
Nice.
Shay.
I would say my favorite character is Hopper. He has always been my favorite character. I think that I love how they give you his backstory, how he lost his daughter, and I love how he seems to always come back. Like, remember, I think it was season 2 when we thought we lost, I don't know, season 1 or season 2, but when we thought we lost him, and then all of a sudden he reappears
3.
in Russian, yeah, oh, 3. And I love his relationship with Elle. So I think he plays a great father figure. I feel like I'm emotionally invested in his character. I also like him as an actor. So I think Hopper is my favorite character. But it's really hard to pinpoint one that is my favorite. But if I had to, it would be Hopper.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't
He's a
blame you.
good
I
actor.
think David Harbour is such a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
And I really love his dynamic with Eleven. One of my favorite seasons is season 2, where they have that father daughter bond at the very end. I really love
Mhm.
that, and I resonated with that. So,
Mhm.
but Shane, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's always hard when you're trying to give a numerical rating to an episode that you're connected to emotionally and that you've spent, 10 years with these characters. So, things get skewed. For me, the first episode was, a 9 or a 10, just because I was so happy to have them back and be able to be in this world and live in this world for a little bit longer. But with that said, my favorite scene is probably that scene with Mike and Holly when they're in the hallway and he gives her the Holly the hero or heroic.
Yes.
It was really strong for Mike's character just to show the growth of him over all of these seasons and all the shit that he's seen and embedding that wisdom onto her and giving her what she needed in that moment. I thought was really, really powerful. It showed him as just this incredibly empathetic character. He did the same thing for Elle, and he's just a very giving person. With that said, I do agree with Shay. I like Hopper, but I think Mike is probably the one I gravitate to most, just because of who he is as a human in the series. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm with you. This is my favorite scene. I know it's not my turn, but this really is also my favorite scene. Since we're on this, so you can skip me after. And the reason why I like this scene so much, and maybe this is the reason why premiere night, it didn't resonate for you, Big Bro. I think the issue that I had with them is they're old, and 18 months does not reflect what they look like, right?
Mhm.
It's been 3 to 4 years, and you can see it, right? I think people were joking, right, putting like real old actors as pretending to be them in like these little
Yeah.
gifts.
Mhm.
So that's the issue that I'm having here. Is it's a little bit disjointed, but when you get past that, because maybe they just eat a lot of green beans over there, then you can then it's okay, right? But like even their voice has changed since the last time we saw them. So that to me, I kind of felt that disjointedness in the premiere, and I was telling Dee something was weird, and then we really thought about it. I'm like, oh, it's just because they're older. But other than that, the feels, the themes, and everything that we love so much is still there. And this is my favorite scene right here. I think I can't remember the actor's name. Finn Wolfhard, phenomenal
Yeah.
actor. He really was relatable with his sister. I believe the actress's name is Nell, and she's my favorite character, standout right now. I want to say even for the whole series right now, I'm really digging her because she's a kid, and we get to relive all this horror and magic and everything powers all through her eyes for the first time, right? So that kind of harkens back to the first season for me. We get to live that through her and all these other kids, right? You know what I mean? There's other kids that are like that we see in the school and stuff like that, though. So I love that, and it's a good mixture right there. So I'm agreeing with you, Shane. You can skip me now. Go ahead, big bro.
All right. Is this the episode where they race up the tower?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
that was
Yeah.
my favorite scene. I
Oh,
love
nice.
that scene just because it was hilarious. Because it's like, nah, bro, it's a Will Byers. Like when he said his own name in third person, I knew it ate him alive, right? Like he was like, I hate this, but for the girl, I'm definitely about to do this, right? And then like in my head, that's my nightmare. Like I have nightmares about climbing big ladders and then trying to get back down. Like like that's the whole thing. It's easy to go up. It's going back down. That's the scary part. It's like no harness, nothing. Like y'all are crazy. But you know, when you're in love, you're in love, right? So um, but my favorite character by far in this episode, in most of the episodes, is Murray. I love Murray. I
Yeah.
love. I just love how he is. And then like when he gave him the tape, it's like you'll find it very engaging. Like he loves his puns, and you know, like people that love puns, they need to be protected forever. They make life better, you know. So yeah,
True.
just I really like Murray. I really like that scene. Just them kind of like fighting over it and fighting over the girl. It seems, you know, it's just really funny because I get it from both standpoints, right? Like if you're the guy who used to like the girl, but like no, now we're just friends. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing like that. I'm just looking out for her. And then the guy where it's like, all right, your dude best friend is really like he's pushing it, bro. Like he's pushing it. So I really like that scene too. But yeah, out of the episode, so me overall, I'm gonna give the episode a 7. Not that it's bad, but I think it was good. But in comparison to, I would say episode 2, I like 2 a lot more than this one.
I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. D.
Okay, so I really like the scene where Lucas is in the hospital with Max, and you know he's been there. I think they say he goes there a lot to visit her and just talk to her, because it's been said that even though someone's in a coma, they can still hear you. And so I love that he's there all the time out of his day to go and visit Max and just kind of let her know that he's still there. He's waiting for her to wake up, you know, so they can go and, you know, do things that they normally would do. And then just to have like that song, her song play, you know, to keep her like focused on where like so she can wake up, you know, something familiar. So I really love that scene. And I feel like Lucas in this episode, he's like the one who's got like, he's very calm and he's got his head on straight. Like when Dustin was being bullied, like he was the one that first came up and was like telling Andy, like, hey, like check yourself, man. He stood up to him first. And then other stuff in more episodes. But yeah, I really enjoyed Lucas in this episode, and I think he's the character that I'm going for this time. To give it a rating, I think I'll give it an 8, just because I felt like I enjoyed the episode, but I felt like at the same time that we knew what was happening, it just kind of everything was moving really fast. But I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I'm not a producer or anything, so it just seems to me as a person watching it that they gave me enough context so I understood what was happening. I caught that, big bro. That was a fast bite. But I felt like it all happened kind of fast. Oh no, he turned off his
This
camera.
isn't Spaces, bro. You can eat.
Yeah, we're not on no Millie Space. But overall, I enjoyed the episode and can't wait to talk about episode 2.
Yeah, no, totally. One more thing I want to mention too is we get to hear the notion about this Mr. Whatsit, which is Holly's imaginary friend. We didn't really talk about that. We'll talk about that for episode 2, but this Mr. Whatsit does play a significant role in the next 2 episodes. So we'll get into that, but I also kind of want to like riff off Big Bro. It's funny that he says that Murray is his favorite character, because I can see Big Bro being Murray in this universe if we were them, right? If we needed like the go-to supply guy. You know, Biggest Bro is that guy. You know what I mean?
You need somebody to get like illegal stuff in, and just people just smile at him and just say, you know what, he's good. You're good. Yeah, I'm the guy for sure.
He's the guy, right? He's our Murray. So.
Yeah, and just say whatever, and people are like, oh yeah, it's fine.
So now that we've established that, real quick before we move to the second episode, let's see right here. I do have some key points right here that I pulled up that happened in episode 1. We had Will's chilling vision, where he emerges from the trance at the very beginning. You see him kind of spinning, so that kind of tells us that something's awry. 11, we see her training, and she's really being hard on herself, trying to prove her dad right because she wants to go into the crawl with him. Holly meets Mr. What's It, right? She's spinning on that little carousel thing, and then she walks over to the fence. I believe that was in episode 1. And then the Demogorgon invades the Wheeler home at the very end. And that's kind of where we leave off for episode 2, guys, which then brings us into, oh, that's not it. That's it right there. It brings us into episode 2, The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. Picking up immediately from the premiere's tense finale, the Demogorgon attacks the Wheelers, dragging Holly into the Upside Down after a brutal fight that leaves Karen gravely wounded, as well as Ted, who got injured. And poor Ted, he tried his best. He didn't get his bacon. He didn't get his due. Mike and Nancy grapple with the fallout of being so secret of what's been going on that their family got hurt, confronting family trauma at the hospital. I mean, they literally see their parents getting wheeled off into the surgery, wondering what will happen. Meanwhile, 11, who is now in the Upside Down because they tried to rush back to the home in time to stop the Demogorgon from getting Holly, which was unfortunate. They weren't able to do that. So now 11 jumped into one of the portals, and she is now in the Upside Down, where she meets up with Hopper, and they try to launch a daring rescue to find Holly. Tension simmer in the group. Steve and Jonathan, they try to bicker over Nancy over a little bro fight, while Robin bonds with Will over personal vulnerabilities. The episode closes on a chilling note, where you find Holly trapped in a Vecna conjure type of reality, wandering an eerie type of Creel house, and Hopper and 11 discovers a huge booger wall at the end of the episode, guys. So I'm going to start off with the biggest bro first, since I know you're on your lunch break. Bro, give us your take on episode 2.
I really liked episode 2. I shout out to Karen Wheeler, man. I think that I wanted her to get her scene, like where she just shows up and protect her kid. And she put damage on that Demogorgon. She put the damage on him, made him bleed. So with mad respect, it hurt my man Ted, man. My man Ted. He tried, but you know what I really liked? I liked that it was almost like old school Batman. Like he was saying these phrases that would pop on the screen when Adam West Batman, but he was just saying them out loud, Jimmy Christmas or stuff like that. It was just hilarious.
Yeah. Heavens to Betsy's.
You know what I mean? And I love that, and again, you see these, regular people who have no idea what's going on, but you know what? They locked in. You feel for the daughter. Holly is just she went through it. When the Demogorgon tossed her to the bookshelf, I was kind of oh, she's curtains. That child is knocked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm guessing adrenaline also. You're I can't knock out. Yeah. And I also want to know what that bed was. How did they post that bed? Because she held on to that bed. That bed saved her life. You know what I mean? That bed was bolted down really good. So shout out to the bed. But
shout out to the bed.
But yeah, man,
made out of oak.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna skip. My favorite scene was with Lucas, Nancy, and Mike in the hospital when they're in the waiting room. And when something bad happens, you always play it back what could I have done? What should I have done? And you have Will being the little brother saying, look, there's nothing we could have done. We did our best. But you have Nancy, who is just, the hard-nosed, investigative, she gets to the bottom of this. She's like, no, man, we could have done something. We could have told them earlier. And then, that questioning of what else could he have done? And then it took Lucas to come, bring it all back. Look, guys, none of us know what's really happening. None of us know what's going on. The best thing we can do is lock in and figure this stuff out and start doing answering the questions we do know. And when he like I don't believe in coincidences. Like this is around the same time that Will was taken, and then adding it up like that. And I think that scene for me was just it's powerful because like when you're especially when you think it's your fault and you could have done something, that guilt, that that pressure, it will distract you from everything, right? And for Lucas to kind of take the blinders off of him, like, look, man, I know. I mean, imagine your mom and your dad, and you're in a hospital. Your little sister is lost, and it's all because you feel that you didn't say anything earlier. Try to get them out, try to move them out, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that scene was very powerful for Lucas, and then yeah, I really like that scene a lot. Giving this episode an 8.5. I'm moving up the scale.
There you go. All right.
Your video, Shane, or do you want to move?
What's that?
No, go ahead, Shane. Your turn.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I mean, this was a continuation for me of the, first episode. And this one answered a lot of the questions that were posed in the first episode. We got to see, kind of how Will was connected to those and what, what he was seeing. So it felt like there was a lot of revelation stuff that came from the questions of the first episode. For me, I feel like there's this, obviously there's this brewing tension between Elle and Hopper as far as her being the rebellious, daughter. She wants to break out on her own, and she knows what her abilities are, and he's, protecting her. I don't know why, but for some reason, when she comes around the corner and blows him into the tree, it was almost like a little bit of her, like, not only saying, this is what I can do, but also like she had some pent up anger about frustration of being held back. So like that, even though it was real simple of her pushing him really, with her powers and may have seemed like an accident, I think there's a lot more being said with that action than even what was, said verbally. So yeah, I enjoyed that little moment of, I think it was a wake up call for him too. Like, oh shit, she can take care of herself, and now I'm injured, so she's gonna have to take care of me. So yeah, thought there was a lot going on in that little moment.
Go ahead, Shay.
So I really liked how they connected the dots for us, just like what Big Bro said and what Shane mentioned, how, first of all, they reminded us that this was within 3 days when Will was taken. And then I liked how, Will figured out that he was kind of a conduit for Vecna. And then how we kind of, we came to the realization that Mr. Whatsit is Henry/Vecna. So I loved all of the dots that they connected for us. And we're still in episode 2. So I haven't seen 3 and 4, but I feel like to give this to us early on makes me feel like there's so much more, and I cannot wait. So I loved all the backstory. I loved all the connecting the dots for us. It was brilliantly done. Action-packed. I love that. Again, I was just like at the edge of my seat the whole time. So yeah, that was and yeah, I have to say episode 2, as far as rating, I forgot to rate episode 1. I was going to give episode 1 like an 8 out of 10 and then 9 out of 10 for episode 2. Now I feel like, who knows, 3, 4 is probably going to be like 10 out of 10. I don't know. But yeah, that's my take.
All right, Slider.
Yeah, this episode, I like how they've kind of changed up the dynamic between the characters, which kind of like, I don't know, it kind of like makes it different because, now you've got like, Robin, with Will, and then, kind of like Dustin, Steve, and Jonathan, with their little thing. And like I said before, Hopper and Elle, and I really like that scene the best. I think like, after they're like walking and, she finds out that he's been shot, and they like sit down and, he basically like, tells her, you're stubborn, but then tries to, explain to her like, why he's kind of protective and like what happened to him, like, in the war, and, really like first time you kind of see him like really emotional again about his daughter, and, and then how Elle like views it where, she, I think she kind of gets it, but then she thinks like, he doesn't really believe in her or her abilities, and, I just think that was a great scene, with him going back and just saying like, he does, but he just doesn't want anything to happen because he knows, stuff doesn't always work out, how you think it should or how you think it will. So, I think maybe later on, that might be some foreshadowing, but, I don't know. But anyways, I just think that was a great scene. And yeah, I just think that, the Duffer Brothers do a really good job with like, jumping around from like group to group and scene to scene and everything and like connecting it together. Like they're really good at that and having it flow too, because like these episodes are pretty long, unlike some shows where, you only get like 30 minutes, like Peacemaker. But anyways, like, we're getting hours of this and, it's like you still want more, and you just like every scene to me is like packed with stuff. It's good. Like, I mean, it's like, it's amazing how they can still, after 5 years going into this, still have like every scene basically, it's like it ties in. They're just really good at storytelling. So yeah.
1,000% agree.
One thing I want to jump in real quick. One thing
Yeah,
we sort of talked about early on, but we didn't come back to it, is the whole flux capacitor. That little sequence was hilarious. Not only is it just a funny sequence and the reveal that she doesn't get it, but it also really ties in well to the time period and the fact that they're paying attention storytelling wise to the time period that they're set in, and that the flux capacitor would have been, prevalent and they would have all been aware of it, and she may not have been. I thought that was just a hilarious little moment. And she's like asking,
Mom
very seriously.
know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So funny and clever.
Is the communication thingy interrupting because of the flux capacitor? And then everybody in the
They're
band
looking at
looks
his
back
face
like,
what?
So
and
great.
the fact that when she thought up of the plan, she said "Great Scott," like
Yes.
the service up.
Yeah.
Like we all after that we knew what was happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was so good.
All good stuff. I love that.
We have some community. Go ahead.
My bad. Just to hop in about the scene right here. I really liked that it was kind of a mutual respect moment, right? I think that Hopper in this moment, when he's getting healed by L, right? And he's trying to be the tough guy, trying to hide his wounds and everything. And like he finally has to reveal it to L. Instead of freaking out, she trusted him. It's like, all right, look, we gotta patch this up. And then for him to be able to let in about his daughter, I think that also gave L the respect of okay, we're both in this together, respect it. And then, I think especially when you're raising a child that, you may not be biologically like connected to, but when they pick up your mannerisms and like you just have to sit there and go, dang, that is me. That like I can't even be mad. Like that's me right there. I did the same thing, And so, I think what was really cool is right after that scene when they see something in the distance that she was ready to you're ready to go, and then he said, "No, let me lead the first." And now instead of like fighting it, she respects it and go, "Okay, this is how we're gonna do the team." So I really like that scene. It's like the subtleness, of just like the mutual respect that they got for each other at that moment.
I want to jump into this too, and I'm also going to get to the chat because there's some really good points in the chat. But this scene, because there's two scenes that are my favorite here. This scene I resonate a lot with because I'm a dad for me per se, and so like seeing this very fatherly love and also very protective, because I'm very protective over Miss Punchline. Dee knows this. Like I get my ass up at 5 a.m. and I drive her to the bus stop. She can walk on her own by herself. I will not let that happen. I will go with her because I'm a very, very protective father. And so I get this, right? And I don't know what it's like to lose my kid. But, watching him kind of like lose his kid from the first season, and then they go through flashbacks in the second season, and then we go through the same flashback again that they had on the second season again now. And then him kind of telling her this, and you see that moment. You see a father and a daughter right here in this scene. And I get why he's like this. I get why he doesn't want to tell her that she did good, right? She actually made her time. I get that he doesn't want to tell her that she's powerful because he's trying his best to make sure she doesn't get hurt. She doesn't get caught, because we didn't talk about Dr. K. You know what I mean? Linda Hamilton. What I love about this character and what makes her scary is she's no Dr. Brenner. She doesn't have any emotional ties to Eleven at all. In fact, she's like literally telling her army guys, like, you know, we need her to help save humanity. People are dying. We need her, right? And so to me, like, and we still don't know who Dr. K is, right? You know, she's kind of like introduced a little bit. We see her as like this doctor that doesn't care to get her hands dirty. They're in the Upside Down. How they built that in 18 months is kind of like, how did they build the freaking like Russian lab underneath a mall in 1 year kind of a thing? It blows my mind how they can build things faster in the 80s than they can now, because they can't do that now, right? And so it
They
blows
weren't
my
distracted by their cell phones. That's
I
all.
guess not. But I really enjoyed this scene. I you know, I resonated with everything in the scene. This is why I put this picture here, so I wanted to talk about this. And I love the dynamic between the two. I think Hopper is such a really good, because I want to say I'm not like Hopper as a dad, but I feel like I am, because I'm not the best dad. I make mistakes. I screw up. I say things I shouldn't say to my kids, or at least my daughter. You know, I bicker with my daughter constantly. I love her to death. I'll do anything for her. She knows this. She's got me wrapped around her finger. I try not to admit that. And so I feel like that dynamic is here also with Hopper and Jane, even though Hopper doesn't want to admit it, right? Like even the way sometimes Hopper acts like to Joyce, right? Because they're a love interest. I sometimes do that with Dee. You know, like Dee be like, "Hey, you didn't ask my question." I'll slam the door. I didn't, neither did you, and I'll walk to work, right? And we won't talk for the whole day. That is our dynamic that we have as a husband and wife. So I really resonated a lot with what was going on here. And then because I cut Dee, another thing I want to also talk about is this scene right here between mom and dad, or between mom and daughter right here. We really get to see what's going on behind the closed doors with the Wheelers. We can see that, you know, Karen is literally turning into a drunk because of all the things that's going on with her. Exactly what Dee mentioned. She's left with all the cleanup and everything like that. There's all kinds of crap going on in Hawkins. They literally put a metal Band-Aid down on the ground to like hide the Upside Down. That's all they're doing, is they're hiding it, right? But it's still there. It's looming. They're stuck in quarantine. So I can only imagine how that affects her. And I don't know how her and Ted got together. Really, someone explain that to me, because those two don't look like they would ever match in high school, but they're together and they have kids. But really having her kind of like motherly instinct, they're hiding in the tub. Whether this was a good idea or not, she tried her best. She held her breath for the longest time, and thank goodness for Ted for being the bait, because that gave them the opportunity to run. And when she grabbed that wine bottle, you can see it in her face. That is a mom. And that mom is ready to kick some ass. She may not be able to kick some ass, but she's going to try her best. And she did. And all of us really thought that she had one up on the Demogorgon until you saw Nancy's face, right? When she comes into the house and you see that face, it's like, oh no, right? And we see what happened. She got slashed, but she's still alive, right? You know, the dad got slashed, and that's kind of how we leave it. But and Holly got taken, right? So I really resonated a lot with this too. I thought this was really, really great acting. And you know, leave it up to Slider. You know, the Duffer Brothers are really good storytellers. They're embedding all these little hints of movies. I see you over there, Omi-Wan, with the Alice in Wonderland. And I'm gonna get to Tails, because Tails had a really good point. But I'm gonna go to D. Go ahead.
Yeah, you actually talked about one of my favorite scenes was with Karen, and how even though her and Ted were arguing earlier, and she was like drinking like that whole bottle of wine, when it came to her daughter's like safety, like she put her behind herself, and you know, yeah, broke the wine bottle and was like, come at me, you gotta go through me if you want my daughter, you know. So like the motherly instinct just kind of like, you know, kicked in. Yeah, I was like, when they were another thing that I gotta point out is like, you know, when Lucas was saying, or when they were in the hospital with Lucas, was it Mike and what's the sister's name, Nancy, were talking about like maybe we should have told them earlier. It's like, in this case, like, would that have made a difference if they had told the parents what they were all into? Because even when Holly was, you know, saying like, mom, you know, there's a monster, and she was like, no, there's nothing, honey, like everything's okay. So I wonder if they had told them before, if that would have made a difference. but I mean, you never know because they didn't do that. So it just kind of goes to show how sometimes, the kids are not crying wolf, but they don't get believed because there's, that's just your imaginary friend. There's nobody out to get you kind of thing. So in a sense, I think that's kind of what makes the kids kind of grow up a little earlier sometimes because they have to fend for themselves and take care of things on their own. With this scene in the tub, I thought that was brilliant because I'm like, where else are they gonna like run to when they're stuck in a room with just closets and the shower stall? And then when they show the bubble, I'm like, oh gosh, like how long would that have, like when you're the person in the tub holding your breath, that might be like forever. And like, yeah, well, Hinano pointed out, thank goodness for Ted, calling like, hey, whatever he shouted out for the
Heaven's the
Demogorgon.
besties.
Yeah, for the Demogorgon to like, go after him instead, and they were able to come out. And there is a scene where I think it's the Demogorgon. It shows a Demogorgon, and you see Karen running with Holly, and they're just like right behind the Demogorgon, and because I think that's when he was like going after Ted, but just that 2 seconds was like she was just running, grabbed Holly. I thought that was brilliant how they made that scene just happen. And then another scene that I really enjoyed between Hopper and Elle was when she did end up meeting up with him, and he's like, you're here, like he can't believe that she's there. And then also she's like, yeah, I wore my hood. Or no, she's like, yeah, I drove with Nancy. You drove with Nancy? And then she's like, well, I wore my hood. Oh yeah, because a hood is just gonna like cover you up, right? You can't notice who you are wearing a hood. And so I just thought like that scene between them was like, they're going back and forth. I thought it was funny. And it all worked out. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode as well. A lot of stuff to also digest, but yeah, those are my 2 scenes that I that like caught my eye. All right.
One thing I want to bring up real quick.
Yes.
So I'm also watching Welcome to Deary, and I always think it's interesting to see other artists and who they're influenced by. And just watching these 2 series together, I can tell how influenced by the Duffer Brothers are by Stephen King's work. There's so many like things that I see in it now, seeing, even though Welcome to Deary is not written by Stephen King, it's in his world, you can see the influences that they took from not just Stephen King, but other things from that time period. But yeah, it's interesting to have 2 shows running parallel that have this kind of monster element and a group of young kids who are trying to, take it on essentially. So yeah, it's just a cool thing I'm noticing.
So I'm glad that you brought that up, because I actually went and looked at the key inspirations from the Duffers. So I used AI to go read one of their interviews. And so I actually have the inspiration for season 5, or at least some key inspirations that they got for doing this season. And so Stephen King is a main influence, specifically and Stand By Me. Nice. We have that little small town kids versus ultimate evil type of thing, which is like a Vecna and Pennywise type of thing. Nightmare on Elm Street, as well as Hellraiser. And nice. I get that too, right? Like I believe somebody said in the chat, it reminded me of Nightmare on Elm Street with the bed and everything like that with Holly. Star Wars Rogue One. Now, you guys have not really seen what's going on, so that's not going to spoil anything for you guys. But that was also a big inspiration for this season. Terminator 1 and 2, because they wanted to make Vecna unstoppable. And this is all public knowledge. They've said this before. And then also like E.T. and Goonies to really have that like friendship feel, right? Kids, that little sense of wonder. John Carpenter, specifically The Prince of Darkness, if you guys remember that movie, as well as The Thing. And then kind of gives you the idea of like being quarantined in Hawkins and some creepy bodily horror kind of dead things. And then some type of anime called The Elfins Lied. And that kind of like deals with 11 and her power struggles as well as emotional fragility. Now, that could be also a hallucination, guys. I don't know. But those were the inspirations that AI got from breaking down a specific article that I read about the inspiration for season 5. So it's very funny that you brought that up. I want to go to the chat really quick because Tails brought something up that I thought was very interesting right here. He asked, do you guys feel like the reveal of Karen writing Henry was a bit of a cop-out? Like, felt it was obvious from the first shot of the silhouette looking and waving? You know, I felt the same way. I really thought Mr. What's It was Vecna the whole time. But what I didn't like in the scene, and just me personally, maybe this is like the one thing I didn't like in the scene, was how the heck can Karen be so like awake and be able to really understand and write? Like, wouldn't she feel like crap? I mean, she literally got beat up by a monster, and like she's writing on a piece of paper like she can write just fine, right? So I thought that was a little bit of a, what do they call that, a plot device in that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep the story moving along, and you know, to wait a day or two for her to be healed up enough would slow everything down. I mean,
for sure.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
It's like, dang, like that's definitely a power mom right there. And then let's see right here. Omiwan says, funny tie-in to the Back to the Future was when they were looking at the dB meter and Jonathan telling Steve to go hit 88 miles an hour, hit 88 or something like that. I didn't catch that. And Omiwan's been catching a lot of things. Like he caught like you know, Holly kind of like being like Alice in Wonderland, and it kind of had that feel. And Vecna, or should I say Mr. What's It, was like the White Rabbit. And then Tails writes, right, but usually we're figuring out things out with the characters. It should be obvious to Mike and Nancy that it's Vecna that took her, and it's my only nitpick though. So yeah, I agree on that, man. Guys, so we're kind of getting close to the 1 hour mark. I've seen all the episodes, so I know what's going on, but I would like to go to spoilers to the people who haven't seen it. Basically, Shane and Shay, kind of give us, guys, your take on what do you think is going to happen in the next 2 episodes. We'll go with you, Shane.
Shay.
No, Shane. I said Shane.
Oh, Shane.
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 I'm sorry.
Just call him the voice.
We're gonna go to the voice, and then we're gonna go to Shay. You're on.
I'm on.
Mr. Personality.
Yeah, it's a tough one because so essentially we're getting these 4 episodes, then at Christmas we get another 4 episodes, and then January 1st we get the final, right? Oh, 3 at Christmas. Yeah. Okay. So it's an 8 episode season, right?
Yep.
So based on how fast things are moving, boy, that's a tough one for me to theorize all the way till the end. Because based on how fast things are moving, I don't see this time in the Upside Down with Elle and Hopper lasting through the rest of the season. My guess is that they're going to come out and they'll give intel to the rest of the team. Because there's got to be a bigger plot that involves everybody, just from a storytelling element. You've got to involve the entire crew. I think that we're going to have. I get bad about names. Who's the girl that's laying in the hospital bed? Max. I think Max is going to wake up. I think there's going to be some sort of a storyline between her and Lucas. I hope that there's some sort of redemption for our friend who got bullied against those 4 thugs. Hopefully they get their comeuppance. Yeah, so I think that hopefully everything gets wrapped up. I think the nice thing about this is that everybody knows this is the end, so they can wrap up all the storylines, as opposed to other television series that get canceled and we are left on cliffhangers. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it ends. Is the final... Did they announce if the final is going to be a 2 hour long?
Yeah. So, and Tails is right. It's going to be 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Oh, so it's a full motion picture.
Yeah. And the last 3 is going to be like an hour and a half long each.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Or at least that's what the internet's saying.
That's great. That's really great. Yeah. I'm excited for all of it. Yeah. I'm excited to be in this world, and it's satisfying that we can kind of pace ourselves and understand that this is definitely coming to an end, and ready ourselves for it, as opposed to just dumping all 8 episodes at once and people binge through it. I like the idea of spacing it apart. I actually like how HBO does theirs, where every week is a new It episode, and it gives you a chance to digest it and get ready for it. So yeah, as far as my spoilers and what I think, I just think we're going to have a lot of wrap up. If we're going to go with spoilers, that I think, I wonder if Elle's not going to make it. I wonder if there's definitely not going to be a happy ending, I think, for some of the characters. They've already proven, the Duffer Brothers have proven that they're willing to let characters go, all the way from season 1 with the girl at the swimming pool.
Barbara.
Barb, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that, and that just, it's not that that's a bad thing. It just makes for powerful storytelling. If you're attached to these characters, it makes it more emotional, and it's going to be more impactful if something were to happen, for sure.
Yeah.
And that would, boy, if that would have happened to Elle, boy, that would crush Hopper. I mean, he would not be able to survive a second daughter loss.
They're all dead, man. You got
they're all dead.
I've seen it. They're
This
all
is all
dead.
a flashback.
You know what I mean?
This is all
The only person left is Murray, man. So yeah.
Oh, Ronnie Lido in the chat asked about Pluribus. Yeah, Pluribus is
That
friggin'
is good
super
too.
cool. Great
Yeah.
show, Ronnie. Anyway, that's where I'm at.
All right, Shay.
So I agree
Give it
with
a shake.
Shane. I agree with Shane that I think they are going to close off all the storylines that we have left open. And I do agree that Max will come out of her coma, but I think that Hopper and Elle might run into Max in the Upside Down world.
Oh, okay.
I feel like, who else is, I guess she's the only one still, and obviously Holly, but I think that they're just going to run into them in the Upside Down world before they come back out. And obviously Henry Vecna will be put to rest.
Yeah.
I think that's all I could think of as far as what I would predict anything else will happen. I do love the pacing. I think it's brilliant. I didn't know it was going to be 2.5 hours for the final, but that's great. Love that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Can't wait to see the rest.
The
And
question is, are you
also-
going to watch it in the theater, right?
Yeah, they're going to show it in
release it in the
theaters.
Theater? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
If you want.
for sure.
Yeah, you can also watch it at home, but they're going to do a theater demonstration, which I think would be super cool.
Yes. 100%. I'm doing it in theater.
Yeah.
Continue what you're saying, Shay.
I forgot.
I do that, Shay. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I
There
derail
goes.
everybody.
I know what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I do love how, I mean, the fact that we've seen them grow from these children to adults is amazing. It's just so fun to watch people grow up on screen like that. I was just commenting. I feel like 11, Millie Bobby Brown. She has definitely grown up, and I feel like when we first were introduced to her, she was a little bit more androgynous. You know, she had both male and female kind of, because she didn't understand, she didn't know based on how she was raised. And then now she's becoming, you know, her own person, and she's more feminine. And I really like how she's grown from that. I thought that was a really great journey for her. And then everyone else too. I mean, everyone has grown. You've seen everyone mature. You've seen everyone go from the, you know, little teeny tiny little kids to like fully functioning adults now. It's kind of really impressive to see that. Love it.
Yeah.
All good takes.
It's it's coming to the end, guys. Slider. Have you seen episodes 1 through 4?
Yeah, I've seen them. So I was gonna say, I can't.
They're
do
all
spoilers.
dead, right? No.
Yeah, I know. So, oh man. No, so I can't really do the spoilers, but I will
Final
say,
take, then. Give me your final take.
okay, I will say that I think you guys are gonna like the next 2 episodes. Like I said, they really do a great job of just like having you want more, you know, and I really like the characters, like how they interact with each other. I really think they did a good job because, you know, some of the seasons, you know, like kind of they kept the same characters together, and you know, it got a little stale. I mean, all the seasons were good, but like this one, I really like, you know, just how the characters have developed too. You know, like I said, like Robin, like, you know, she's like really coming into her own, and you know, even like, you know, Jonathan, like it's just you know, like Dustin, he's kind of different this time, you know, like he's definitely affected by what happened with what's his face from the Hellfire, you know, him dying and everything and how that affects him. So yeah, I just I think that this was a good episode. Like I said, I would probably give this one a 9. And then yeah, I just think that I can't wait for the second half because I think it's going to be interesting what they do and how they start to really tie it all together, you know, because the next 2 episodes, no spoilers, but you're definitely gonna they kind of start weaving it together a lot more. And these next 2, you really kind of get a better idea of what's going on, but then also kind of not, like, so it's just really good. So yeah,
All
that's what I
right.
got.
D, final take.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna let you guys know what happens in episodes 3 and 4. So you know, like how Lord of the Rings has, you know, Sam and Frodo, and they walk for like the 3 movies. This is exactly what the crew does. They
They just
walk.
walk. They just
They
walk.
just
in.
walk and drive
No, they
in
drive
that
a van.
radio van, and then they all just die.
It's, once again,
Next-
inspired by Stephen King. It's The Long Walk.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Yeah, I think you guys gonna enjoy it. I think you will. You will enjoy it, and then you're gonna be like, "Why do we need to wait till Christmas?" Because I felt the same way.
Gotta wait
Why
till
do we need
Christmas to open
wait
your
Christmas?
present gifts, your gifts.
I know. Can Christmas come early this year?
It's in a few weeks if you really think about it, guys. It's
Yeah.
really
True,
just in a
yeah.
few weeks. And then, guys, I appreciate everyone in the chat for tuning in. Anyone is welcome to join us up here. We'd love to have. We were supposed to have a full crew, but some people are sick, so they couldn't make it. But we're going to be reviewing episodes 3 and 4. So if anybody in the chat wants to come up, you guys are all welcome to. We'd love to hear you guys' takes. I mean, this is kind of our take from what we saw. I know a lot of you guys in the chat. I've been watching you guys' Tails, Omi-Wan, as well as Ronnie. You guys really caught on some subtle things. Like Tails brought up, like he heard hints of like the Terminator theme in the background. And you know, I remember hearing that in episode or in season 3 when they had like that Terminator, the Arnold lookalike, right? Like in the carnival area when he was chasing down Hopper guys. So I like those little subtle things right there. But you know, to kind of bring it back, guys, this has been basically a long movie that's been kind of like developed throughout an entire decade. We got to see these guys literally grow up from kids to now. And I think, like I said, the only disjointed part is instead of 18 months, it really was 4 years from season 4 since we last saw them. So it you know, it's hard to hide the growth spurt in all these guys, right? But you know, from the first episode we saw this was a very unique series. I still remember the first night I watched it. I watched it without Dee. She was at work. I'm so sorry, Dee. My Miss Punchline, I think, was like 2 or 3 when this first season came out, right? And now she's 12 and watching it with us. And so, like, you know, I remember that night. I was literally with my baby, and I was watching the entire thing, because once you start watching this thing, and Slider made a good point. This isn't a half an hour, James Gunn. This is like an hour plus of really good cinema in a TV type of setting. You know, it goes by so quick. Like the episodes, like it begins and it ends so fast, and you're like, well, what happened, right? You know, versus like the James Gunn thing, right? And I'm really glad you said that about HBO as well, Shane. I really wish they delivered these one at a time like HBO, and I really hope Netflix don't buy Warner Brothers, because we don't want to. We want movies in theaters, and we want to be like the whole dairy thing, right? So I hope that's good for that. But anyways, guys. This has been the Severed Floor for episodes 1 and 2 of season 5. I really enjoyed it. It really got me in the feels, and I can't wait to review this on next week Sunday with you guys. D, close out the show in final words, however you want to do it. Go ahead, D.
All right. Yeah, thank you, everybody. And I'm really excited that we're gonna have other people join us next time for episodes 3 and 4. That's awesome. So I'm gonna have to rewatch, jot down all my notes, because I didn't do a good job with that. But I'm really happy you guys caught some Easter eggs in there, Omi-Wan and Tails. And yeah, I can't wait till the next one with you guys, and to review it and just get our take on what may be coming for us in during Christmas. Yeah, and we'll have to go check out the theater if our theater is gonna have that for the final Hinano. Because that'll be
You know
some.
us, it's gonna release on Netflix before it probably releases in the theaters, and I'm gonna be like, forget it. We're gonna pop some popcorn. We're gonna turn up the surround sound because that's what we had to do. I don't know if you did the same thing, Tails. Like we had to like redo our surround sound here because I really needed to hear that Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein theme just pound throughout the house. And what's so bad is everybody's sleeping at like midnight, right? And we're like blasting the shit out of our surround sound, not caring because
Nobody's
you know what?
sleeping.
It's Stranger Things, guys. And for us in Hawaii, we got to watch it on Wednesday, not Thursday, right? And I don't know if it was supposed to release on that Wednesday, but we got to watch it early. And I remember we didn't start watching it till like I think like maybe 9 o'clock at night, and we stayed up till like the wee hours of the morning just watching it. Like we had to watch the whole thing. So
Wow.
yeah, and then we rewatched it again, you guys, because like I wanted to like catch things that we missed, and we're probably gonna rewatch it again. My daughter is a big Stranger Things fan. She would be up here right now, but she's watching our son. So unfortunately, she's not gonna be here. Maybe we'll get her here for the finale, but like this is how much my daughter loves Stranger Things. Max is her favorite character, by the way.
Yes.
We had a Stranger Things party for her, guys. Like, and I want to say it was like her 7th or 8th birthday.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
And we had a cake
That's
as
cool.
a Demogorgon. We had a little Demogorgon plushie. She loved it, but the parents was like, "Whoa, wait a minute."
Oh, they're like, "What's that on the cake? Is that a flower?" I'm like,
No
"Mhm,
Zootopia.
yeah, it's a flower."
You know what I mean? It's like
It's a
Oh,
dangerous
it's a
flower.
flower.
Yeah.
It's gonna eat you alive.
Yeah, it's gonna eat you.
yeah. We literally had a Stranger Things party for our 8-year-old daughter, and yeah, we're that type of parents. We also had a Ghostbuster party when she was 5. So sue us.
Nice.
That was cool.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but guys, this has been fun. We're gonna have a lot more people on next week, and guys, we're gonna be reviewing this show till the very end, and we're gonna be with you from like the heartaches to the tears and everything in between.
All the deaths.
Yeah,
Oh,
the deaths, yeah, because they all die in episode 3. Sorry, spoiled it. We're gonna be here, man, and I'm just hoping. I'm gonna say it. I'm a big fan of Lost. I understood the ending, but not a lot of people did, and I'm hoping it's not like that or a Game of Thrones thing, right? Like they need to end this properly for the fans, as well as for our own sanity. So,
yeah.
final words. Say your goodbyes. We'll start with Slider and Shay and Video Shane because you know you guys are all been missed, especially you, Shay. It's so good to have you back with us.
So
Slider, go ahead.
Yeah, it's great to be here with all you guys, and yeah, I'm just looking forward for the rest of it. Christmas can't come soon enough, but yeah, guys, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was great.
Shay, you've been missed.
I have missed everybody, so I'm so glad to be able to be here with you guys, and I cannot wait for the rest of the episodes. Much love to Back Hells. I know you guys are out there. I have to say that every time, but thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I will be back for the rest.
Woo! Let's go.
Yeah.
The voice serving us away.
Well, yeah, this was fantastic. I love getting a chance to talk to you guys, and yeah, it's. I'm glad that Stranger Things is back. I'm excited to see where it goes. Great to have Shay back with us, and yeah, till next time.
Sweet.
Dee,
Thank you
take it away.
everybody for coming on. Appreciate you, big bro. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. So stay tuned for next week, and we will see you then. Yeah, and happy watching. Go watch your episodes so you can comment with us next time.
Will do.
Yep. They all die.
Stop it.